welcome. This is Ayana Leahy, and I am so very happy that you're here with all of us in this week's episode of Be One, Be You. We are diving into the theme, When You Need Religion Recovery. That's a big sentence, isn't it? A big title. The place that I'm coming from with this so that you know what to expect. That when you have placed your power outside of yourself into a belief system, and privately when you ask yourself why, you discover that you are avoiding letting go of control. That through holding on to your own belief systems and turning towards the external beliefs of what you're supposed to think, what practices you're supposed to take on, and you have wrapped yourself around holding on to something that gives you something that's very personal, gives you a way to move through and move beyond how small you feel inside, how afraid you feel inside, how insignificant you feel inside, and how you don't really know who you really are. But the most precious times that you've had are your times really touching into God, and you know that they are real. You know those moments are true. And you may not know how to really show up being who you really are and how to cross the bridge into becoming the next expression, the next phase of you, the next chapter of your life of being you. And so you hide behind what you believe out of fear when you need to recover yourself through over-identifying the practices of a religion. You are ready to break through. When you're ready to see through how you hold on to an identity, it feels pretty scary because without the attachment on the outside, you don't know who you are. It's so easy for the mind to grip on, for the mind to hold on. And then what do? How do you function if your mind is not holding on to anything on the outside? What do you turn to? Well, there's only one way to go, and that's where you're turning into the light within you, and there in the light is God. Otherwise, you can spend your whole life and lifetimes after this lifetime living in your concepts of being on your spiritual path. On your real spiritual path, you're losing yourself. You're forgetting your identity and who you think you need to be. And instead, you are turning to the light within you. And it is a spiritual, physical light that's blazing inside of you that anyone can find. You don't have to believe anything to find that light, but the light will crack you open and take you through your greatest fears. Lifetime after lifetime, you are tested through experiences that test your trust, test your faith, trust your determination, and trust that the light that is within you is sincerely and actually the source of light that propels the entire universe and all beings. So why are things falling apart on the outside? Why are so many things collapsing? Many of you are wondering that. Why is this happening? Why can't I just live a life where I don't have to deal with all these distresses and fallouts and people hating each other and religions hating each other and religions judging other people, religions thinking that their way is the only way? How much are you willing to stretch inside so that you find your heavenly, earthly relationship with the source within you? What do you have to drop? What do you have to be willing to transform? Well, you have to be willing to come out of hiding, have to speak your truth. You have to be willing to walk your talk and do it in a real way. You have to be willing to see how things are really interconnected through your body-soul connection. You have to be willing to receive the feminine within you, male or female, woman or male body. Whether you're a man or you're a woman, you've got that deep feminine power within you that comes from the earth. That God is the union of both aspects, both qualities of you, your inner male and inner female. It's no wonder so many people are seeking their other half inside of themselves, wanting to become that, the other part of themselves. Both your inner male and inner female are here inside of you all of the time. Your true masculine is a divine presence. It's you who is your higher self. Your inner feminine, your inner female, the true inner feminine is not a social feminine. It is the true power that is within you, that you feel through your Shakti, through your energetic arising of the power within you that is of pure life force. Both men and women are here now to awaken to the pure life force within inside of us. And we have externalized it, and we see the winds blowing and the waters rising and the emptiness, the drought, the imbalance that is happening on the planet. We have allowed it to happen, and yet the forces that be have pushed through ways of creating the deliverance of one thought of the mind instead of all the thoughts of each heart coming together to create a new way, an interaction that supports the life force to exist. It creates industry and economics, science and the arts and education through the integrated mind and body. So how does that tie in when you need religion recovery? Well, when you think that your way is best, it becomes really impossible to create a political bill to put into action that integrates the inner masculine, inner feminine. It becomes impossible to see through the color of a person's skin. It's too easy to hide behind a religion where God itself wants to crack you open and wants you to see and to feel and to really know your connection with the source within inside of yourself, and have brought the imbalances in your own mind, the wounded heart that you have left and hooked onto and into a belief system. Every great being who is the same soul that came to teach at different periods of time brought forth the teaching for the time that was turned into a religion, whether it was Krishna, Ram, Buddha, Yeshua, the Christ, Mohammed, the great Abrahamic prophets. They were deliverers of truth from the one source. When you lose yourself, you lose your own expression, center point, essence of who you are, because you want to become part of something bigger. And so you lose yourself into something bigger that is a spiritual path, a spiritual cult path, a religion. You begin to define yourself mentally through your external. When you have stopped growing and you've reached the wall or the ceiling of yourself, and you realize that you feel trapped, or you realize one day that you've become arrogant, or you realize that your own system of values has been created through what you've taken on instead of what has been truly found within inside of yourself. That's when it's time to recover you, to uncover the layers and see for yourself the fear inside of yourself. That takes courage. It takes really being bold. It takes being willing to risk. It means being the Siddhartha and walking out of your safe zone into the unknown and realigning yourself into the divine that is always guiding you, because it's always the predominant force within inside of you. Every living creature is in connection to the divine at its own state of evolution. Here now as a human being, as a God-woman, God-man being, meaning that you are awakening to the source within inside of yourself. If your attention is fully focused upon God itself, you reconnect and realign and lose your own identity into the light that is within you. And how beautiful it is to be then in your personality self as you are joined in the light. But if your personality self is based upon being seen and appreciated and accepted on the external for what you represent, and you begin to or have mastered identifying who you are with how now others are seeing you, and even getting hung up and caught up in how the source itself is seeing you. It's time to recover you, to be willing to put at the feet of whoever your master is, whatever religion you have followed, you put at your master's feet. That being the religion was created after. You put at their feet your whole soul. And if they are truly the being that you know they are, if your relationship is really pure with that being, you will be taken out of your own illusion, your own self-deception, in order to recover the God self within you. Every single religion that has been created for this planet had the original intention that oftentimes was not followed or fulfilled or made up by followers, sometimes hundreds of years after. Oftentimes the purity happened through the suffering of that master being. Every true master that has come to planet Earth to implement your pathway back to yourself was of the same soul. It is the same being coming time and time again. When you lose track of that, who you really are, not your opinions, not the beliefs, but what is the heartbeat of your soul, the rhythm and the pulse, the wisdom, the strength that resonates with inside of yourself, that leads you to God, the source of all there is. So many of you would say, well, I don't believe in God. Well, that's okay. You don't have to believe in God. That's a God that was created in judgment of you, that you're doing something wrong. Well, you know that who you are in connection with life itself is okay. What you want to pay attention to is what you create inside of yourself to block that pure essence, that light, truth within you. And you want to end how you fabricate your stories in order to control. Because man, woman who lives in fear wants to control. So you want to take a real strong look at how you control, how you run, how you avoid, how you spend your time, what you think about, what you lose yourself into on the outside instead of losing yourself into you. If you're a person who loses themselves into you, into the source within you, ask yourself, why are you hanging out with people or have a partner who doesn't want to go inside? If you're in a career where you can't integrate your inside and your outside, you want to discover what you've been avoiding, and you want to open the door to recover you. Inside of you is a reservoir of infinite light and power, bliss, knowledge, wisdom. That's your God self. Walk through the fear to meet your higher truth of your light and the divine spark that is waiting within you. when you catch a glimpse through discovering your true self, you realize that God is inside of you and not tied into guilt, fear, control, and separation. Take some time this week and unhook the ways that you deny the real love that's inside of you so that you can really find and live in your inner love. You have to slow down and open the door and face that the love inside of you is the God within you waiting to be found. And this is the beginning to recover you. Holding you in the deepest love, the deepest light, because you see all of life is light, and every cell in your body has light in the center. You have your own unique hologram, a design, a geometric design. When you close your eyes and look into your heart and come sit in the cave in your heart and sit around a campfire in your heart and see the light blazing and invite in a geometric design from above your head. Let it show itself to you. This is your unique imprint, your source code of light of God within you, and invite this universal design to enter down into your body, into your heart center, and receive its frequency, its presence. This is the way to turn into the light that is here all the time. You're not turning away, you're turning towards and in to the light within you. I'd love to invite you to experience the work of Spirit Gateways. And I'd love to invite you to subscribe at my website, IanaLahey.com, IANALAHI.com, and receive Living from Your Wild Heart and dive in. Every Saturday morning, you receive in your inbox the teachings, the movement, the meditation of the week that brings you into a new relationship with the light, the source of all that you are within inside of you. Holding you in deep love until next time. Thank you so much for being here with us. This is Ayana Lahey.